Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.
Hi, this is Werewolf the Podcast, and I'm your host, Sally. Yes, I'm back.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm recording this podcast for you because your audience likes me more than you. The description has all the links to Will's social media pages. Thank you to the Facebook group. You know who you are and what you did, you big bunch of beautiful bastards. There are exciting links in the Facebook page to listen to Fenn and Gregory Alexander Sharp's books and podcasts there. Why should you go and listen to that? Not only is it ace, but it also reveals how this little podcast came to exist in the last episode. So all you diehard fans, go and listen to learn more about why you're here and ultimately why you keep coming back here to listen to our shenanigans. Remember, you can also give us some money. Yes, you can give us money by following the support the show link in the description. Go on, that would be awfully kind of you. Because Will is a charity case with all his cars and money, I actually think that money should really come to me, don't you think? Anywho, back to the story. I've just saved Will's life. Yep, that's right, I said it right. I have just saved Will's life by scaring off a pair of Nixies with some bloody decent music, if I do say so. So here we are, standing over an eyeless werewolf on the damp tarmac.
Just get on with it, action.
Fine, back to the main story. Well, this is somewhat of a change of circumstances, isn't it, Mr. Wolf? You fucked up a little bit here, didn't you? Your idea of not giving a fuck is sometimes not the best methodology for life, and for Fenn, is it? What the fuck, Fenn? What the actual fuck? Did you not realise what was going on there? You are slipping up, my friend. I was crouching over the big black bloody werewolf's body on the sodden wet tarmac. It was shaking and rolling around and stuff was just seriously wrong with its face. It had been ripped to shreds by pointy claws and it looked like roadkill. Skin and fur were hanging off its skull, the eye sockets were massive big bloody holes. It looked like worms had bored their way out an animal's brain. In fact, no, probably something bigger than worms, actually. Probably snakes. Like big snakes. I mean, they were red, big, bloody holes. Yeah, it would definitely have to be snakes that made those. Worms would be too wee. Weird the things you consider at moments like these. Anyway, I have to say, there was a definite part of me that was loving this situation. I know I'm a little sick, but you have to remember that I had been ditched in the woods by these bastards the last time I saw them. I had my canine teeth pulled out without any painkillers and then been fucking left tied to a tree. I have to say, I don't mind a little tying up and a little bit of play punishment in certain situations, but in this case, stuff had gone far too fucking far. I'd been bleeding from the gums in some bloody woods miles from our. It wasn't very nice of them. No cool at all. So a little enjoyment of their suffering from my point of view seemed completely fair. I'd gotten myself out of that predicament, but from then on I knew that they could kill me and my posit at any moment if they wanted to, because they had my teeth. I'll get to that in a bit. I have these cool gold teeth now, but they don't really compensate for the hours of pain, humiliation, and stress. I felt like sticking my finger in those bloody eye sockets. Not eye sockets, eye pits. Just to cause a little bit more agony. But I managed to rise above that thought and watch them heal instead. Saying that, watching that feel... I just felt a bit pukey watching. I didn't want to throw up though, so I just looked away. As I was laughing her tail off at the healing, waggling monster on the floor. Mentally, I could hear her saying stuff in Russian, none of which I imagine was friendly or supportive in nature. She sounded like she was thoroughly enjoying herself though. I can tell that you are wondering why I was left tied up in a tree with my teeth removed. Oh, you're not? Is that because you actually listened to the episodes? Or is it that you just didn't give a shit? Anywho, I'm going to tell you anyway. Will and I had gone to sunny Aberystwyth or Aberystwyth or some town in bloomin' Wales to find an ancient manuscript that would show us how to kill a werewolf soul. Yes, you heard that correctly. How to kill a werewolf soul. It can be done. I'll quickly go over the werewolf thing for those of you that are not familiar. Werewolves were created a couple of thousand years ago during a tough Russian winter. A pack of wolves and a pack of humans were dying, so through magic and bollocks, they formed a super pack. The wolves gave up their physical bodies and then joined the humans as spirits so that the people could become like wolfmen at will. The souls of the wolves are invisible to the unmagical and sane folk, but wander around with their partners as pals. Magic's pretty cool, eh? Ultimately, this means that the human part of the pair is actually kind of at a massive disadvantage, as it can still die. If that happens, the wolf soul would then have to tootle off and find another human to bond with, which is no easy thing. Most people would feel that they were, having some kind of a mental breakdown, and if an invisible wolf soul just started to talk to them. If you think about it honestly, come on, really honestly, it would be the most realistic thing to believe in those circumstances that you'd gone fucking nuts. Let's set the scene. You're having breakfast one day and a wolf wanders through the door and sits by the breakfast bar with you. Oh, and we're not just talking like normal size mundane ass wolf here. We're talking a big mofo wolf. I suppose I could help you with describing that with an added big fuck off in front of the word wolf noun, but mofo for those in the know has it covered. So the wolf walks in, sits down. That must be a little disconcerting, right? That's mad, eh? Let's add an extra layer. The big fuck-off wolf starts asking you about how you like your eggs prepared. Most people would think that they'd completely lost the fucking plot at this point, would they not? Those runny scrambled eggs that were in your mouth are now probably sprayed all over the fucking breakfast bar. The wolf is somewhat disgusted by your manners at this point, but before said wolf offhandedly tells you now that you could live forever and become a werewolf or a wolf at any time and, be very bit difficult to kill, nearly impossible. Does that sound like a usual Tuesday morning to you? It does. Wow, we have very different lives, which is pretty unbelievable as I'm the bloody werewolf here. Anywho, back to the story again. We've gone to the great town of somewhere in the back end of Wales to a Welsh library to read a manuscript written by some old magic bird, and it's all about how to kill werewolf souls, coincidentally. Will had read it on our revisit and now had all the information on how to do the killing of werewolves. It was all a bit more complicated than that, and I don't know where I was at this time. I'd not factored in the werewolf tribe who were using the two of us to get that spell so they could kill Will, though. That is where he dumped me in the wilds, took my fucking teeth, because crushing them had something to do with killing the werewolf souls. I'm sure it's probably much more complicated than just mashing the teeth up. There must be some kind of sacrifice or spell or demons but to this day I'm still not sure. Anyway, Azza is my werewolf soul. She's actually sat right here giving me some serious side-eye right now. We joined after Will had killed Azza's previous human partner, who also happened to be his wife. Yes, you heard that right. He killed his wife. Aye, he even had a wife. A wife, I should add, Will didn't even ken he had. She was more a friend's wife than Will's, I suppose. Then, Will and I bumped into each other when I was trying to go down south hitchhiking. All this shit happened in other episodes, I have to say. And they're pretty entertaining, so do yourself a favour if you have not, and waste a bit more of your life by listening to the Arthur episodes with all their crazy shit about werewolves, and obviously the best bit, me!
Up yourself much.
Excuse me. This is my video log here.
What?
Avatar, obviously. Back to the wrecked werewolf on the floor. After all that extra information that you probably didn't need, you can imagine seeing this bastard lying there in pain was pretty warming to my heart. I'm not a vindictive character. I know that he would recover from his wounds pretty quickly, but to see him in pain, writhing around on the floor as they did so, seemed like a worthy reward for them being total dickheads to me. I mean, we had, in all forms. No, nothing kinky. I mean, we'd done it in our creature forms. I suppose that's actually a little bit kinky. It makes me a little bit warm just thinking about it, actually. Ooh-wee.
Jesus.
Get over yourself. The flesh on his face was nearly fixed now. I could hear the sirens of the local constabulary as they were getting closer to what was now, in their vocabulary, the incident. Come on, you big furry fucker. We need to get the hell out of here. I have a vehicle around the corner and we need to get moving. I tried to lift the wear thing from the floor, but it was huge. So that would only happen if I transformed. And being in London, I'd gone shopping that day. And this jacket was, I wanted to help them out, but not at the cost of this jacket. Leather jackets don't grow on trees, do they? Especially ones this gorgeous. They grow on cows. No more cows would need to die for my fashion sense. I would not be wrecking this thing up by being a werewolf right now. Well, you need to split for Finn right now. I cannot drag your ass out here and we need to move. I told the damp furry mess. Suddenly, a man was lying on the floor. He was all naked and sweaty and, all manly and sweaty and vulnerable and so damn hot. No, Sally, not
Jesus.
now, but maybe later. I offered Will my arm and helped him get to his feet. His face was back to being that handsome, roguish face that I knew so well, and he smiled as he looked at me. I could see he was grateful for my help, which was a bit weird, but that smile sent tingles up and down my spine. Ugh, I hate hormones. I'd gone from big, tough, heroic helper to simpering little Sally in one look from those big blues. God damn it. Holding me up, I took him over to the Volkswagen camper that had been my recent purchase. Sliding the back door open, I threw him in, and Azza and Finn jumped in the back too, and we were off. Let's get out this place and hope that shit does not follow us for once. The vehicle was moving...
Whoa, now this is my bit, okay? You alright with that?
Yeah, fine. I'll just drink my wine and be completely on my own in peace.
Alright, okay. I was not fully back in one piece yet, but at least I could just about see. I knew that Sally and Azza were back and that, humiliatingly, that they'd saved my ass. This would be a problem, possibly due to how we separated a few weeks back. Actually, I should be a little confused as to really why she'd saved my ass. I don't know what vehicle thing we were in, but it was roomy, and I spread myself out to relax and recover. Sally was listening to music, and Wet Legs Chaise Long was coming through the decent sound system. Volkswagen camper, said Ben. Oh, I see, I said out loud. Let me guess the colour scheme. Daisy yellow or fucking orange?
Fucking orange,
said Sally as Asa laughed. Predictable. Decent engine note though. You spent something on this piece of shit, huh? Is that a flat six, 3.2 litres? Has to be a Porsche. Stereo and engine are the only things I like so far. I was being as condescending as I possibly could be. I was going to enjoy being a dick.
piece of shit cost a fortune, but your bank account helped me out. 1965 Volkswagen Samba bus. Upgrades cost you a small fortune. You need to get better passwords, my friend.
Fen and Asa were both laughing at me. They could sense my annoyance at what she'd just done and said. I swallowed my anger. No, that's fine. You deserved it. even though it is fucking awful, and I'm actually embarrassed to be seen almost dead in it. That wasn't a bad retort, even if I do say so myself. Now we've established that it is you and that you've got bad taste.
In men.
Butted in Azza. Very funny, Azza. What the fuck were those fish things?
Well, they were Nixies, and they're bad news if you upset them. Do you never think before you do anything fucking stupid?
Fen and Asa were laughing now at how I was being ripped a new one by this young woman. I was going to have to be very mature in my response, of course, so I considered. And how are your teeth?
Very mature. When you see my new beautiful gold-lined canines in all their glory...
Gold, obviously, I tried to say under my breath, forgetting about the werewolf souls and about a werewolf's boosted hearing.
Urban chic is quite the thing.
Urban chic.
Urban chic is quite the thing, I'll have you know, right now. So I was looking at her now through Fen's eyes as my eyes were staring at the ceiling. She was smiling into the rearview mirror, posing at different angles so that she could see her fucking teeth from various, angles. I have to say they sadly suited her. I would have to admit that to myself mentally, but I wouldn't be sharing that information with her, would I? That would be like being almost nice to her. Fen stepped in because he thinks he's the font of all knowledge regarding magic shite. I think he thinks that I care about that when in reality I really don't. As you describe them, the fishy things are Nixies. As Sally said, even you must be able to tell the way they look that they are water spirits. They're ancient fairy folk, fairy spelt with a fucking E, and classically drown people and wait for them to rot a little, and then they eat their flesh. They're pretty rare and particularly fond of children and to young romantic lover types. I knew they were shapeshifters, but they usually look like attractive to seduce and attack their prey. The whole dippy hippie shit threw me, to be honest. I'd met them before, but never had a conversation with one. In the past, I've just tried to have, nothing to do with them. We do not have much in common, you see. So, Sally, let me guess on how you ran them off, because to be honest, they were going to fuck us up, weren't they, Will? I started to mumble something about being in complete control of the situation and that given a few more seconds, how I would have gutted and filleted the fucking things. This was ignored as Fen continued his statements, as it was pretty obvious even to me that I was talking utter bollocks. So, turns out they have a thing for music, I believe. Anyway, in ancient times, they would get people to come to a river by singing and making music. As we know, fairy music's actually pretty shite. But humans hear it and it actually sounds really good. They put a geist on the humans. What the
Geist.
Geist. That's what I said. Anyway, they're not attracted by the music, but by the magic that's made by the music. Poor fools are actually getting conned by shite music. Fairy music. I mean, look at Bono, the big leprechaun and the millions he has made by the nonsense he sings. His pot of gold still keeps getting bigger.
Bono's a fucking fairy? I dumbly asked.
That's not very PG. The entire band are. Can the Edge be taken seriously as the Edge? He looks about as edgy as that thing that's not close to the edge at all. Also, don't you find it funny that he would sound like he was playing the banjo badly if he did not have all those pedal effects to make him actually sound good? Don't you often feel significantly affected by music, like there's some supernatural element to it?
Fen and I started to laugh at this profound and mystical philosophy that Sally was spouting.
You two are dicks.
She hit us with mentally.
I played those Nixies some unfairy but very decent music. They kind of stand the sound of it, decent tunes. It hurts them, so they buggered off sharpish. So I did, and they did. I know you won't thank me because you're a cunt, but I saved your ass with some good old Caltrone. You are right there, Sally,
said Azza. I smiled at this. Well, thank you, I mean it, I told her.
At this point, I turned around in my seat and stared at him completely dumbstruck for a moment, and then I remembered I was driving.
Whoa, this is my story. Everything now seemed to be healed and ready to go. Those things had been, done me quite a lot of damage, which had done its usual thing of, annoying me, to be honest. What do I like to do when I'm annoyed? I want to take it out on the annoying thing. So, how on earth are we going to kill them? I was looking at Fen and Azza as they sat in the back of the bus doing that lounging around thing that wolves do. They looked at each other and then at me and fucking shrugged. I don't think you can, to be honest. I've never heard of a way you can, Fen and Azza agreed.
Hold on a minute, you guys are supposed to be the expert because you're so old and experienced. But guess what? As usual, the 18-year-old kid has the knowledge to lay on you. You want to know what the Nixies are susceptible to? 2 things. Good music and anyone.
She smiled. She was being patronising, and to be honest, I was enjoying this thoroughly. I have no idea, I replied.
Fuck's sake. Alright, okay, I'll tell you. Iron! Iron's really poisonous to them, especially when you stick it in them.
Well, to be honest, Fen started to say as if he was, somewhat hurt. Most fucking things die if you stick iron in them.
Yeah, right, of course. Pedantic. But right, you can stick almost anything else in them and they will not die. So, you know what I mean, really. Fuck's sake, man.
So we just need to get something sharp, pointy and iron and stick it in them, I said.
That's right. Apart from the wee bit, of course. Look, I've come back for 2 reasons only, and after dealing with both, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but I have no intention of helping you out with your little Nixie issue.
Silence, apart from the music in the background, fell on the bus. Okay, well, that's more fun for us, I suppose. I have to admit, I was a little bit gutted that she'd be leaving. Why does she make me feel like this? It's the weirdest thing. She and Fen are the only things I seem actually fucking bothered about. I had let her live a couple of times now. What the fuck was that all about?
I've got 2 things to sort.
She'd said as she pulled over on the side of the road. She turned off the engine and then turned toward me. I could see some distress in her eyes and it hurt me. It felt like sharp needles in my chest, not physical pain, but something else.
Look, Will, I need my teeth back. That's number 1. I don't want to be around you anymore. You hurted me beyond measure, both physically and mentally, especially when you took my teeth. I thought we had something.
She looked away with a tear in her left eye that she was trying to hide as we spoke.
Look, Will, that really fucking hurt.
She said with a broken crackle in her voice.
I'm never going to trust you again. Not for that.
I did not get the usual warm feeling this would have given me. In this case, I felt as though there was like I don't know how you say it, it was like a hole in my tummy, like I was hungry, but not for food. Are you okay? Fen was talking to me. I could feel his puzzlement at my reaction. She turned back to me to meet my eyes with hers full of fucking tears, and she dragged her sleeve across her face, wiping it clean and presenting a new brave expression.
So we've covered point 1, and point number 2 is you've gone and knocked me up. And I think we're having a litter. These little bastards are kicking the fucking shit out of me.
What? What? Wait, you're pregnant?
Give Will a round of applause.
Oh, shit.
Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.